randoms. We're back with a video reacting to Nightmare on the Farm. The man. Okay, they wrote it like this: the man worse than Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, whoa! I'm scared.
All right, let's go.
What you're about to hear may be considered disturbing. Robert Pickton, a quiet pig farmer from Canada, was hiding an extremely horrifying secret. He was, in fact, the most prolific serial killer in Canada, perhaps all of North America.
He looked crazy.
And how he would go about hiding his crimes will absolutely...
May look familiar.
He looked crazy.
Well, he do. He looks crazy.
I avoid people that look creepy. They give me creeper vibes. Like, your soul telling you, that person off.
Yeah, sometimes what you feel is true. And
Yeah.
Sometimes some people just look like that.
Yeah.
But...
well, you're going to get judged.
yeah, he looked like something wrong with that boy.
Sorry.
But I never heard of him.
Disgust you. With all the attention Jeffrey Dahmer has been getting lately, it should be stated that Robert Pickton is by far worse than Dahmer. Where Dahmer kept his crimes between him and his victims, Pickton would make his crimes worldwide, and I will get to that in a minute. After his parents would pass away a short time apart from each other in 1978, Robert would then proceed to take over the family's pig farm in 1980. Many of the workers who worked on the farm would call Pickton a quiet yet very nice guy, but a bit of an oddball at times. They said he would sometimes have random outbursts out of nowhere to himself, be caught talking to himself, and making weird facial gestures to the pigs. As the employees would go home for the night, Robert would stay there and lure women to his farm. He would mainly target the homeless and sex workers. He would bring them to the farm by winning their trust with his nice guy act. Once he brought them into his trailer located in the farm, that is where the real nightmare would begin. He would either take a syringe full of antifreeze and inject it into his victims, or he would strangle his victims. Those who were injected with the antifreeze would suffer from hours of excruciating pain as they were slowly being poisoned. When you think it doesn't get any worse, whether dead or alive, Robert would take his victims and lash them on the meat hooks. As the hooks dug into their back, he would then proceed to butcher them the same way one would butcher a cow or a pig. This is where the story becomes even more disturbing. Robert would then proceed to take the bodies and grind them up in his meat grinder. I remember where I said Robert Pickton's crimes were worldwide. Well, he would take the grounded up corpse and feed them to his pigs, the same pigs that would be sent to distributors as gelatin. Gelatin, which is used to make jello, candies, soups,
he was feeding them to us in America.
His crime.
How many of y'all ate jello?
Well, I don't eat jello much.
Well, we did through our lives.
Yeah.
And he was a pig farmer, so
that's outrage.
What he butchered and, processed, he gave to distribution to the stores. And then it went all through the stores through America. Oh my God.
Good thing I don't eat swine no more.
Yeah.
But jello. Okay.
Vitamins and more. And it should be noted that he was doing these crimes between 1980 and 2002. 40 years giving these pigs to popular worldwide distributors. So as you watch this video, yes, it's very possible you may have eaten one of his victims. Pickton would then decide to take the rest of the flesh and guts and turn them into sausage. He would then feed these exact same sausages made from his victims to his neighbors. Robert and his employees would hold a big popular concert on his farm known as the Piggy.
Yeah, that sounds like Jeffrey Dahmer, because they said that he was making food and giving to his neighbors. Come on, y'all.
That's how you need to chill out with these movies. Like Saw, you giving these psychopaths ideas.
No, the crazy gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, but not to that depth. They say, oh, that's a great idea.
No, see.
Like, come on now.
That's why I don't like potlucks.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Palace. Robert would then give out free meat to everyone from concert goers to his employees, and unbeknownst to everyone but Robert, they were eating sausages and other pork products made from his victims. In 1997, a woman by the name of Wendy Lynn Eistetter would be the next of Robert's victims. A sex worker picked up by him and brought back to the trailer on the farm. Once finished engaging in consensual sex, Wendy would call her boyfriend. That's when all of a sudden, Robert locked one of Wendy's wrists in handcuffs, and as he tried to get the other one on her, she fought back. Robert would then slash Wendy's stomach with a knife, almost disemboweling her. In the struggle, she was able to get the upper hand, still grab the knife, and slash Robert's throat, and he would become unconscious. She runs directly out the door, bloody and partially disemboweled. She would then run to the nearest road and flag down any car driving by. Luckily, an elderly couple spot her, bring her in the car, and take her to the nearest hospital. What Wendy didn't know was that Robert would regain consciousness and drive himself to the same exact hospital that Wendy was staying in. At the hospital, police will question Robert because in his pocket, an orderly found the exact same handcuff key that was around Wendy's wrist. Police proceed to lock Robert up for attempted murder, but because Wendy is so terrified of Robert, she refuses to testify against him. The prosecutor completely drops the case. Vancouver Police Department were aware of at least 21 women vanishing in that area, but still refused to investigate.
21, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Because most of them are sex workers. That's why they're not caring. You already know they're not caring.
And ain't they poisoning people too? Because he gives them antifreeze.
Yeah.
And you know when you start chopping that
Go
meat
through
up,
the body.
that's infected meat. No one got sick from that in stores?
It's infected meat 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get sick. Lots of times people be sick, you be like, brush it off.
Dang. Poor
The levels of sickness.
Yeah.
They assumed since most of the women were homeless or sex workers, they just skipped town. They would never think of an innocent, nice pig farmer as one of the most hideous murderers in all of Canada. So the police let Robert go. They still collect his belongings for future evidence. In 1998, a whole year later after Wendy's attack, Bill Hiscox, a worker on Pickton's farm, who knew of missing women in the area, started to connect the dots back to Robert. He knew Robert liked to visit the low track area looking for women. Hiscox would go to the police and tell them about his suspicions, and also tell police Robert would have a terrible joke to his friends about the meat grinder, that if they ever needed to get rid of a body, the meat grinder was the way to do it. Hiscox even told the police he had
They always telling themselves. Crazy can't hide crazy.
Because
Person always tell you who they is.
They do. But look how long he been getting away with it. So yeah, he gonna get arrogant.
That Gacy said it got 2 cops one time said clowns get away with murder.
Admitted it.
And you take any minute, so
It's crazy.
and do a minute eventually.
suspicions that Robert was serving human meat at his farm. Once again, the Vancouver Police Department still dismissed this and called Hiscox crazy. Later that year, Inspector Kim Rossmo developed a technique called geographic profiling. With this technique, he came to a conclusion that a serial killer was targeting the low track area. Again, the Vancouver police would dismiss this, denying of a serial killer and demoting Inspector Kim, calling his technique nonsense. A whole 4 years go by. A truck worker who made deliveries to the farm made a tip to the police that would then spring them into action. February 6, 2002, the Vancouver police executed a search inside Pickton's trailer for illegal weapons. They said it was beyond disgusting, terrible smells, and just cluttered. But in all the clutter, an investigator would spot an asthma inhaler linked to Serena Abbotsway, a 29-year-old woman who'd gone missing in August 2001. Police would then warrant a second search. This time, they would find clothing, jewelry, shoes, and ID cards of several of the missing women. Investigators would then proceed to do a search of the entire farm. They would end up finding 200,000 DNA samples and seized over 600,000 exhibits. When everything was said and done, the entire investigation cost $70 million. In 2 outbuildings on the farm, they would find skulls, hands, and feet of many of the missing women, including many chunks of human remains. Pickton would then be arrested of first-degree murder. The investigators would go back to the farm and find DNA of 33 other missing women. While awaiting trial, Robert, in a recorded conversation, would admit to his cellmate he killed over 45 women. He stood trial on January 22nd, 2007, a span of over 40 years of when these murders first began, and he would be charged in the deaths of 27 women. Robert was sentenced to 25 years to life, and what makes this even crazier is that he's eligible for parole. That's right, the man proved to killing 27 women and admitted to killing 45 will be eligible for parole and possibly a free man soon. Sit back and think about that for a second. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this story and you want to hear more of my stories ranging from paranormal to true crime, please subscribe and hit that notification button, as you are now in Minutes of Horror.
They let that play all the way through.
Well, him
This
talk.
video, yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely Minutes of Horror.
But that's
But oh my God, so this guy is still alive and he's in prison and he's able to get parole. He's
He's running for life though.
F that. I got
Privilege life.
Yeah, something's up with that because they found human remains everywhere
And he admitted to killing 40-something.
to a cellmate. And
They
but
said he only got 21 bodies.
F all of that, you found human remains all over the place. And all these, because they were prostitutes, these poor homeless women and prostitutes, because no one really takes that serious. And then they found those body parts, and then they just gonna be like, oh, okay, it's no big deal.
They give people life for one life.
Yeah, they do.
Which it makes sense,
They
but
do.
it's harsh.
Yeah.
Because some people didn't do it and they try to pin it on people. But a life for a life makes sense.
Yeah.
This man took many lives.
They found bones, 20-something? Whatever, 20-something
Yeah.
people. You found bones 20-something.
And he gonna do it again when you let him out.
He should be on death row. Should ship him from Canada to Florida.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't.
If y'all don't know what privilege is, watch him.
Yeah, I ain't never heard this dude. I don't know.
Neither. I remember his face though, but I never
Never heard this
Yeah.
guy. Oh my God.
Man, he was pretty bad.
I want to look him up and see what prison he's at.
I don't care.
Oh, boy, I swear to God.
Man, you right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a horrible
I don't
video.
know like wishing bad upon people, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a horrible
I
video.
don't know who hurt my own house.
But this is education, guys. The more you know.
Yeah, next video.